Quiero entender cada matiz de tu mirada. Quiero contar los días grises contigo. Quiero escaparme de lugar entre tus alas, no. Vivir feliz sin tenerte. Hi guys. Vivir feliz sin tenerte. Y ahora sin ti. Al olvido late fuerte. Sé que te han hecho sufrir. How we doing? Duerme tranquila que hoy yo te vi. Todo de mí. Todo de mí. Hi, Jojo. Quiero cantarle al mundo claro y voluntad. Quiero vivir, quiero casarme. Hello! Hello, everyone. Oh my God, we have Canada in the house. Shelly, hi. Hello, hello. London is in the house, of course. My London crowd is here. And we have from Nicaragua, Tobin. Hi. Well, welcome, everybody. Just one more minute before everybody comes, and we're going to get started, okay? But listen to this music because we're going to be using this song today. So use this time, 1 minute you've got, to listen to the song. Jim, hi! And Derek is here. Whoop, whoop. Derek, whoop, whoop. This is your song for today, guys. Danny J. Oh, Leila, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you, Ortendro. Thank you for your donation. You're nice and early there. Very generous as well. Thank you. Hi, Debbie. Hi, darling. All right, let's get it started. And we already have donations happening. Thank you so much. This is people who trust that I'm going to do a good job. Now, first things first, before we kick in and we do some nice things. Oh, Layla, thank you so much. Before we do nice things today, a couple of things. First, I'm using this fish eye on my laptop. So I want you by the end of the class to tell me whether that's actually better than it used to be or not, because I wanted to make sure that you see me in wider angles. So I don't need to use the screen down and up. So you could actually see me from further apart and see more styling and whatever. So we're using the fish eye and we're hoping for the best, okay? And if you really don't like it, I'm not gonna use it, but I think it might be a good thing. And there's also different dimensions, so maybe I can play with that as well. But anyway, this is first thing that's different with this live video than the ones before. Hopefully the quality. Okay, the other thing, quick recap. Okay, so the part one, we've learned musicality in the sense of how to find your rhythm. We learned how to find 1 and 5. We learned a couple of steps that we need to know just in order to keep moving with the bachata. And we done all of that. And we looked at the traditional bachata and we looked at some more sensual. We said that if there's a solo, that in traditional, there would be more guitar based. And if it's a sensual song, it would be more based on a movement. So we've gone through that. Oh, you like fish eye? Okay, good. Excellent. I hope it doesn't kill the quality in general. So that's what we did the first week, yes? Last Saturday, the first musicality class. And today, we're going to use only one particular song. And we're not going to do a routine because, I'm really funny about teaching musicality with routines. I feel like then you go and you use another song and you can't use the same routine. But we are going to use one particular song that I was playing in the background. It's by Danny J. And it's called, I have it written down. What is it called? Todo de mí. Now, the reason I want to use this because it has some sensual bits. It has some guitar, which we can use for Dominican influence. And we also have different layers in this. So then hopefully when I explain it, when you go to another song that has the same layers, and most of the bachatas are exactly the same. Like there's very like few that goes a completely different way. So more or less, if you play with this song today with me, I think you can recognize so many same influences on other songs, and hopefully musically that will help you. Now, oh, Jim, thank you for your donation. What do we have? Hi, Rasa, how are you? You have not done part one. Well, this is not going to be complicated in a sense of footwork. We're going to have two pieces of footwork that I think is complicated, but is that more or less about it. So if you didn't do the part one, don't worry, you can still stay and you can rewatch the part one when you leave this live stream. Don't do it now, but you can stay and then rewatch it because it's on my channel. So you can find the part one and rewatch part one. Part one, I need to pick my fingers carefully. You can rewatch the part one. Don't worry, it's just, don't think that I'm gonna be explaining this live video about the 1 and 5. It's in the part one, but you can still stick around because all the information that you're gonna learn now is also very, very useful. So don't worry, you can go back to this. So now, first things first, we need to warm up. We're gonna do a warm up with the body, and then very, very quickly, we need to do 2 pieces of footwork. Is gonna be essential for today. I believe that in order to do a complicated kind of cool thing when the guitar syncopations are happening, you need to know at least 2 pieces of footwork that I'm gonna show you today. Now, before we do anything, we have to warm up. So get yourself ready, give yourself a little bit of space, and quick warm up for the body, for the legs, little stretch, and we're gonna get started very, very quickly. Because I think it's gonna take some time to learn that 2 pieces of footwork, but you have to. Oh, Mary Lou, thank you for your donation. You trust me so much. Okay, guys. Starting with the shoulders, rotating. Rotating back. Keep going. And forward, rotate. Keep going, keep
Después de tanto tiempo, si estamos juntos es el destino. Cásate conmigo, cásate conmigo. El sol y la tormenta también serán parte del camino. Quiero estar contigo, por Dios te lo pido. Cásate conmigo. Vive toda la vida contigo.
Make sure your legs are straight. Toes pointing up. Side and side, side and side. Circle.
Cásate conmigo, cásate conmigo. Después de tanto tiempo, si estamos juntos es el destino.
Other side.
Cásate conmigo, cásate conmigo. El sol y la tormenta también serán parte del camino. Quiero estar contigo, por Dios te lo pido.
All right, collect the legs. Soft knees, hands on the knees. Circle.
Puedes ver en mis ojos que nunca voy a dejarte ir. Con la mano en el pecho, mi amor, con mi corazón te quiere cantar.
Other side.
Con una de mis canciones tengo algo que preguntarte. Cásate conmigo, cásate conmigo. Después de tanto tiempo, si estamos juntos es el destino. Cásate conmigo, cásate conmigo. El sol y la tormenta también serán parte del camino. Quiero estar contigo, por Dios te lo pido. Cásate conmigo. Vive toda la vida contigo.
Stretch up.
Amante, mejor amigo. Y de eso como yo te sigo.
Make sure you push the shoulders down.
gigante. Pégate a mí, mi corazón no te miente. Dime que son como una persona.
Stretch forward.
Cásate conmigo, cásate conmigo. Después de tanto tiempo, si estamos juntos, es el destino. Cásate conmigo, cásate conmigo. El sol y la tormenta también será parte del camino. Quiero estar contigo, por Dios te lo pido.
That's it.
Conmigo.
Okay, I know it's nice and gentle, but we have so much to do. Hi, Dave. Hi. Okay, so now, guys, immediately going into our footwork. Let me put my glasses on to make sure that I can see what's going on the screen. So now, in order to do one particular point in our music, which is guitar, basically, whenever guitar goes crazy, you cannot play with it musically unless you know syncopated footwork. Now, I'm going to show you two pieces of footwork. It doesn't matter, they work kind of the same way. So anytime there's a lot of guitar, both of these footwork you can use, not one or the other would be more of a preference. But the reason I'm showing you two and not one of them is because usually if the guitar lasting a little bit longer, you can't do the same footwork the whole time. You need at least two to play with. Does that make sense? So it is not easy. They are called syncopations for a reason. That means they are fast. That means they use four as well sometimes. So just bear with it. We're going to do it really, really slowly first. Okay? So now we start with the basic step to the side. 5, 6, 7, basic. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? So now we're going to do the same basic to the side, but we are syncopated. Watch it once. Don't do it yet. Just watch my feet. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. So there is a tap in between. I take a step, step, tap, step, tap, step, and normal tap as a pause. Step, tap, step, tap, step, and tap. If you've noticed, all of the extra syncopated step happens in the center. Step, tap, step, and go. Don't panic. Let's do it together, okay? Very slowly. When I say tap, don't put the leg down. Tap means on the ball of the foot. We need to make sure that the leg that taps is the same leg that's going to go again. So you're going to be doing a double step with the same leg. Okay? So slowly. Immediately into the syncopation. Step to the side. Tap. Take a step. Tap. Take a step. And tap. One more time. Side. Tap. Step. Tap. Step. And go. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. Does that make any sense for you? So when you hear me say and, that's when we're tapping. 1 and 2 and 3. Yes? Keep on traveling into the same basic step. One more time. 5, 6, 7, we go. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. Now, let's try with the basic step and with the normal tempo and see how you feel about it. Okay? So one basic first. 5, 6, 7, we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you go. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, and 6, and basic step. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I need thumbs up if you got it, or like a no, no, no if you haven't got it and you want to do it again. Because if I don't get any information from you, we're gonna just move along. Because to be honest, for musicality, for now, that's all you're gonna need. Have one thumbs up. Any more, or are you all in a great panic? So guys, when you do, I have 2 thumbs up, good. When you do this step, the most important thing is not to make effort, okay? Anytime there's a syncopation, remember you're dancing for yourself. So it's supposed to look like nothing happens, okay? It's not supposed to be and tap and go and tap. Not only that extra energy in that tapping is gonna confuse you, but also it just doesn't look pretty. There's no point, yes? The syncopation is supposed to be nice and easy like nothing happened. Ah, Maria, Lebanon is back. Excellent. Hi, darling. Join in, join in. Okay, I had enough thumbs up, so I'm moving on. Now we're going to do the second syncopated step, which is called a grapevine. Okay, so here we go. Grapevine is going to be this. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. So the reason it's called a grapevine is because we're literally crossing over backwards and forwards. So we always prepare first with the step to the side. So it's always a step to the side first. I prepare and then you cross in front. Prepare, cross behind. Prepare and then tap. Prepare, cross. Prepare, cross. Prepare and go. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. Yes? So the most important thing here is to remember, if you went to the side with your right leg, you will always go to the side with the right leg. If you went to the side with the left, you will always go to the side with the left. And the other leg is the one that's crossing behind or in front. Technically, it doesn't matter whether you start crossing behind or you start crossing in front. I'm gonna cross in front. That's where we all should be crossing in front. But in general, it doesn't matter whether you cross behind or in front. Technically, it's the same thing. Okay? So let's try very, very slowly. We prepare to the side, we cross in front. Prepare to the side, cross behind. Prepare to the side, and tap. We go to the other side. Prepare to the side, cross in front. Prepare to the side, cross behind. Prepare to the side, and tap. This is a basic syncopation grapevine. We are doing 1 and 2 and 3, 4, which we could do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we can add on one later on, the extra one, but for now, I think that's enough, okay? So one more time. 5, 6, 7, slow. 1 and 2 and 3. 4 other side, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. When you do your grapevine, make sure you angle your body to the direction where it's easier to cross. Okay? So don't stand straight and do this with your legs. It's really hard. Let your body angle to let the footwork happen. The other thing is that make sure you're not going with your flat foot. Everything is on the ball of the foot, almost tiptoeing. So then it's faster and it's also neater. Does that make sense? So now let's try a normal full tempo, the same step, okay? But we're gonna do one basic first. 5, 6, basic step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we go. And 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. Basic 2, 3, 4. Here we go. And 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we go. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Have you got it? Have you got it? Give me thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up if you got it, or like no, 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 I have not got it, okay? Because now we're going to combine those two steps together, and we're going to do most of it the first syncopation, and only going to do the grapevine once. It's really exhausting to keep going with the grapevine. Yes? There's no point. Usually we're doing something, and we usually only do it once when the music is a bit more active, like towards the end. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Oh, perfect. Okay, so everybody's got it. Well, more or less, the ones who are communicating. Otherwise, in deep shock, yes? Okay, so now we're combining together. We have 4 beats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have the first part, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. 1 and 2 grapevine, and 5 and 6 and 7, 8. So we're going to continue the whole 3 times with our normal. That's 2. That's 3. And on the 4th one, surprise! It's a grapevine. Okay? One more time together. 5, 6, syncopation, 1 and 2 and 3. 4, 5 and 6 and 7, 8. 1 and 2, get ready, go. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So when we're going to dance with the music, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so now that you got this, we can finally start talking music. So the important bit is very easy to remember this. If the music starts slow, you start always with your time step. If the music starts normally with the beat, taka, 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 you go with your beat, okay? Now, if the music stops, you stop. That's it. How do we stop in time? If we dance in the music and slightly behind the music, we will hear when the music stops. So the most important thing when you're dancing, same as salsa, same bachata, is not to rush. So if you stepped before the stop, that means you went before the beat, right? You anticipated the beat rather than heard the beat and react to it. So when you're dancing, you're supposed to be a little bit heavier. Even if you're doing something fast, you're always in the beat. You are never ahead of the beat, right? So that's how, even if you don't know the song, when you hear the stop, you can put the leg down, but then you stop and you come back because you heard the stop. So first, we decide whether we're going to start dancing slow or straight to the beat. Then, if the music stops, we just stop. Like literally, no matter what happens, you stop and you wait until something happens again. That's all you need to do with the stop. Yes, the stop never lasts for long. It literally goes tutum and ta 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 ta. So usually, even if you're ready to go, you stop, come back, ta 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 ta. Yes. So you have now 2 moments. The third one is the guitar. You hear the guitar? In this case, we have 3 and the 4. But as I say, you could just as easy do this and then do this. It doesn't matter. These 2 steps that I've taught you will work with most of the guitar moments, okay? Some a little bit more than others. But if you don't know the song, you will hit with this kind of syncopations, you're going to hit about 60-70% of the guitar. The reason you can't hit it 100%, you need to know the song. Because if it's going to go ta-ra-ta-ta, ta-ra-ta-ta-ta-ta, there was a little pause there, you didn't know there's a pause, you stepped on a pause, you missed the guitar. Does that make sense? So unless you really know the song and you're learning the music and you're trying to remember it, you can't hit it 100%, but these two steps are gonna give you the best what you can do without knowing the song. So you hear the guitar going crazier than normal, that's what you do, okay? And then finally, that's it. And then the stop. Probably in the end of the music, there's gonna be whether just a stop or again, some sort of slow motion. So basically, that's all you need to know. Whether slow start or quick start. If there's a stop, you stop. If there's a guitar, you go crazy. If there's an ending stop, you stop. If there's a slow stop, you slow stop. Right? We read it. Musicality class finished. It's that easy. Now, when the song is slow, okay, when the music slows down and the instruments disappear, there's 2 things you can do. We learned the time step in the first part, right? In our part 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is called the time step because usually, even if the rhythm changes, we use this time step, right? So as soon as we start the music, if the music is slower, the instruments haven't kicked in yet, that's the step we're gonna start with. We're gonna start with our time step. Ta, 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 ta. But this step, you're still supposed to hear a little bit of bongos, which is tuk, 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 tuk. If you hear that, then you can still do this. But there comes a point sometimes with sensual bachata kind of influence that tuk, tuk, tuk disappears and there's only a voice and some sort of background, but not tuk, 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 tuk. So it feels inappropriate to do that tap. So then we're gonna do slower time step. There's going to be 2 beats in one of the steps. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 2 beats. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So it's going to be much slower. And as soon as we do that, in order not to stand on the spot, we're going to start moving the opposite shoulder to the step. Yes? So as soon as I'm going to the side, instead of doing this, I'm taking a step, and if I go on my left to the side, my right shoulder rotates back. Then if I go to the right, my left shoulder rotates back. So we might actually start by going step, tap, step, tap, step, tap, step, tap, and suddenly, instrument, the tuku, 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 the bongo influence disappears. You're slowing it down. Slow, and slow, and slow, and. Okay? So now, to give you this as an example, so you could actually hear it, I'm going to play it for you. So, for example, this is how the song starts. It's slow, right? But listen in the background. You can still hear it, right? Can you hear that? It is slow. The beginning is slow. That's why we want to do the time step or any kind of complicated move you have with the time step. But there is the little something in the background that makes you still step. And that's why we're doing the time step. But what happens here? Wait, I have somewhere written it down. What is my time? Oh, 53. Okay, let's go. 53, 53. But now listen here. Where's tuku tuku? There's no tuku tuku. Tuku tuku is back. Stop. Kita. Yeah? Did you hear this part? This part, when it stopped, this time there was no tuku tuku. Suddenly, like, boom. Almost like you can hear almost just a heartbeat and him singing. So it's kind of like illegal to do any kind of crazy feat. Because this is just, it doesn't work. But then once you're in that movement, there's the tuku tuku coming back. And suddenly, okay, I can start moving a little bit more and a little bit differently. And that's how we play between sensual and some footwork. I'll play you that one more time. So have a feel how suddenly no instrument there, just a heartbeat and his voice. And then the second time around, you have the tuku tuku. Okay? Well, not the second, the same time around, but the second part of the same time. Yes? Sé que te ha hecho sufrir, duerme tranquila que hoy yo te di todo de mí. Okay, give me some sort of sign that you understand what I mean between the time step, where everything is really slow, but you still feel you hear like It's all computerized, but you hear the bongos, right? Like that little tunku tunku, whatever the instrument is, right? So if you hear that, you still feel like even if you're doing a sensual move, you would do it with the influence of that instrument, right? But because it just makes you move, even if you don't know what it is or what it makes, but you hear it, so it makes you move. As soon as it disappears, we're supposed to react to it. So everything becomes slow motion, almost like Matrix, yes? And that's what we want to make sure we follow. Whatever the song is, don't think it's always the time step. Think about whether it's the normal time step or the slower time step. Okay? So now we're gonna bring it to the challenge. We're gonna start. It's gonna be slow. There's gonna be puku puku puku. So we do the whatever. Yes? Then when the music starts, kicks in, you're gonna hear him slowing something down. Then you're gonna hear click, 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 click. That's an invitation for you to start moving. Okay? When we start moving, we're gonna do our basic step. We're gonna do forwards and backwards. We're gonna do the bass step somewhere, and we're gonna try and respond to the music, and then we'll go from there. Okay? At some point, there will be a guitar. As soon as the guitar starts, remember, you got your syncopation. Let's see what happens. Half of the song, and then we're going to talk again.
Quiero escucharte palpitar cada mañana y que me extrañes si no estás conmigo. Quiero enredarte y que no salgas de mi cama, no. Quiero entender cada matiz de tu
Now we dance. There's everything going on. Forward.
Quiero escaparme a algún lugar entre tus alas, no. Sin tenerte, mi mundo no se ha dividido. Vive feliz sin tenerte y ahora sin ti.
Here we go.
Vivo la fuerte. Sé que te ha hecho sufrir. Duerme tranquila que hoy yo te vi. Todo de mí.
Syncopation. Great line.
Todo de mí.
Great line.
Quiero cantarle al mundo cada madrugada. Quiero vivir, quiero casarme contigo. Siento tu voz y no me importa.
How are you feeling? We'll do it again. Don't worry, we'll do it again. I just want to have a little conversation before we try it again. So there's few things there, right? I mean, you snooze, you lose, basically, but that's just the way it is. Now, how do you know that the slow part is coming? It's really, really hard to know, okay? But basically, if you base his singing as a sentence, if he's singing something, talking, then talking more. Remember in the first part, we said he talks, then he talks some more. But if he's talking, and then kind of extending something, that means something is changing. Now, what is changing? But usually by drop of the instruments, you can tell there's going to be a slow part. So just to give you an example.
Se ha dividido. Quiero pintar los días grises.
So he's singing.
Quiero escaparme a algún lugar entre tus alas, no. Viva feliz sin tenerte. Mi mundo no se ha dividido.
Singing.
Feliz sin tenerte.
And now listen.
Y ahora sin ti. Ya no olvido la de.
So you have to pay attention to that kind of thing, right? Because it's so subtle, but you have to listen whether he's just singing da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, or if he's preparing you. Da-da-da-da is completely different feel, but you have to listen. As I say, bachata music is a little bit different than salsa. Bachata music is so much more simple because there's less instrument and the music usually is based on a pop feel. So even the melody is very recognizable. You hear the bachata once, you feel like you've heard it before a million times. And that is why you have to memorize the music. Because if you miss it, you like miss it grandioso. It's not like in salsa, you miss the little taka taka. In bachata, if you miss it, you miss like the whole slow part. It's tragic. So you have to, on top of what we're talking here, is actually learn the music. Shelly, oh, thank you for your donation. Really appreciate it. In partner work, do you separate to do the syncopations? If not, would it be led? So, oh, Magda, welcome. Hello. So, guys, all of this, what I'm teaching you, is for the guys to lead and for the followers to follow. In bachata, we do not let go of our partner to do syncopation. We do it together. This is actually, Dave, that's a good point. This is why I showed you this. This you can actually do on your own. You don't even have to lead it, okay, as a guy. You could be just all lead, whoever's leading. So you could be doing this and the other person is doing basic. The reason you can do it whenever, even if the other partner is not doing it, because you're both traveling to the same direction. So the extra syncopation is actually not interfering the leading or the following. So especially as a follower is one of the most my favorite steps, because sometimes if I'm bored dancing with the guy, sorry, I speak the truth. So if I'm getting a little bit bored and it's a little bit basic, I have a lot of footwork that I can do without actually interrupting the lead. But if I hear that there's a syncopation in the music and the guy is ignoring the syncopation, bless him, he doesn't know any better, yes? But I do. I have my little step. I do it as I say. You don't need to do it big. You do it for yourself, for your heart, because you feel the music. And this is not necessarily believable. Now, grapevine, there's a lot of the times we can actually lead it in the partner work, or you can also do it while the other person is doing the basic. But that step, your partner will notice it when you do it because there's a little bit of twist in the body, but you're still not interfering the lead because it's still traveling to the same direction. So it becomes a little bit playful if you look at your partner when you actually do that step. It becomes like a playful thing. But both of these steps you can use. This is why I didn't show you steps like this or like that, that you can also use for syncopations. But those are traveling different directions, so it does require to be led and to follow. But these two steps, you can actually improvise if there's a basic happening yourself. Entertain yourself. So I hope I answer your question, Dave. And guys, we do not let go of our partner in bachata. It's a partner dance full on. We don't let go of each other. Unless, I don't know, you can, but that's basic rule. We do not. Not like salsa. We don't have a shine section. Yes. So should we try that again? I think I lost my train of thought. I got distracted by the donations, which I appreciate, and by the question. So guys, let's try that again, okay? Really focus whether you can hear it properly. And then ask questions if you have them, okay? Let's go. One more time. Time step.
Quiero escucharte palpitar cada mañana y que me extrañes si no estás conmigo. Quiero enredarte y que no salgas de mi cama, no. Quiero entender cada matiz de tu mirada. Quiero contar los días grises contigo. Quiero escaparme a algún lugar entre tus alas, no. Sin tenerte, mi mundo no se ha dividido. Vive feliz, sin tenerte y ahora sin ti. Late fuerte, sé que te han hecho sufrir. Duerme tranquila que hoy yo te vi. Síncopate. Quiero cantarle al mundo cada madrugada. Quiero vivir, quiero casarme contigo. Siento tu voz y no me importa la distancia, no. Sin tenerte, mi mundo no se ha dividido. Sin tenerte, yo sin ti. Ya no vivo, late fuerte. Sé que te ha hecho sufrir. Duerme tranquila que hoy yo te di todo de mí. Syncopated, great mind. Todo de mí. Basic, solo fundamentos en base. Siempre rozarme con la pata. Por dentro se paralizó hasta el viento. Se marchitaron mis miedos. Y esa imagen tuya de aterrada y de vida y el medio por el resto de mi vida. Se queda en silencio el corazón mientras te pienso. Tan lejos, vida mía. Late fuerte. Sé que te ha hecho sufrir. Duerme tranquila que yo te vi. Todo de mí. Syncopated, syncopated. We go. Todo de mí. Sé que te han hecho sufrir. Duerme tranquila que yo te vi. Todo de mí. Late fuerte. Sé que te han hecho sufrir. Duerme tranquila que yo te vi. Todo de mí.
How are we feeling? How are we feeling? Talk to me. Does that make sense to you? Yes or no? Give me some sort of sign, peoples. Give me a sign that the teaching is happening. Give me a sign that you're learning something. Good, Marilu. Okay, excellent. So now, guys, it brings me to another point. We already rehearsed it a couple of times. Now, what the point it brings me to? Excellent, great. Carl, when's the slow part in the bongos? Do you need to use the time step or you can be stationary doing isolations? Absolutely, Carl. So I do the time step for you to be able to respond to the change in the music for the slowing down. Because even your isolations, Carl, like even if you would do something here and then you would do isolations, it kind of is in a time step position, right? So you don't actually have to do always a time step. A time step is something for you to practice when you're listening to the music. Because it's much more difficult to practice when you don't know what to do complicated moves and to be able to pick up the music. It's much easier to get in and out of the music with the time step. But if you are a more advanced dancer and you know a lot of complicated moves, you can adapt those other moves. And isolations, of course, it's essential bachata part. So if you hear in the music, even if it slows down, but you are playing with the tuku tuku tuku, and you want to go tuku 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 tuku, who's gonna stop you? Not me. Not me. So yeah, Carl, if that answers your question, you can do isolations if you hear that they are matching the music. The most important thing, guys, is that you would actually hear it. Like if you do something out of result to something as a reaction to something, nobody can blame you for it. I mean, sometimes you will be more obvious with your choice than other times, and not everybody might understand it in the beginning. But if you actually choose to do this because you are reacting to what you think you've heard in the music, it has to be correct. I mean, it might not be technically correct. Maybe you would be off the beat or something, but you are correct in here. Does that make any sense to you? Am I being too philosophical? But nobody can tell you anything if everything you do is a reaction to what you've heard. That is the most important thing. So I am just trying to teach you how to hear things that are really, really basic, and some of them a little bit more intricate, but still so basic in the terms of how you can express yourself. But the idea is to learn to listen to when it's slow, to when it's slower, to when it's normal, to when it's syncopated. When you hear, when you notice these things, these steps that we're doing are so easy so that you can actually respond. And then when you learn how to respond to the music with these steps, you do what your Carl said. You can take more complicated moves, start experimenting, but it's because you can hear it already. It's hard to do complicated moves if you can't hear. Yes? Oh, guys, thank you for your donations. Raymond and Teresa and Sal, I really appreciate it. I did this for you guys. Thank you. Thank you for your donations. So now, guys, the most important thing I was about to say after our practice, and we're going to do it one more time, is whatever happened once will happen again. The guitar happened once, it happened exactly the same again. The slow was first completely slow, and then the second one was faster. And it happens again. So don't act surprised. If it slows down, you can be almost guaranteed if you're doing it for the second time, it's going to be the same format. It's very rare when it's not, okay? It's the same with the guitar. Listen. Okay, here we go. Try to memorize it. Duerme tranquila que yo te di todo de mí. Quiero cantar. Yes? Now, completely different place. I played you two different parts of the music, beginning somewhere and somewhere in the end, and it's exactly the same. So if you're doing your first syncopation, just listen. At least the tun 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 run tun 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 run tun tun tun. So if you're dancing with your partner and you miss that part and you end up doing it basic and you're thinking, oh no, I am a loser. You're not. Next time you will know better. You're gonna go, aha, guitar is back. Right? So it repeats itself. Just pay attention. That's all you need to do. If you haven't memorized the music, memorize it while it's playing. Okay, how's that for the advice? Your arms. So don't worry about the arms, Debbie. If you want to learn how to use your arms with a nice style, on Sundays I do lady styling workshops. So come to Sunday, tomorrow, 5:30. We learn a lot about the arms. But for now, you have to make sure that when you do your syncopations, your arms by your side. Because if you think about it, Debbie, you're going to be dancing at some point, hopefully soon, with another person attached to you. Okay, so usually if it's footwork and you have one hand free, you tend to put it on a side or here for now, but in general, keep them by your side. So when you're doing this syncopation, it's nice and easy, but when you're rotating, can you see my arms are here in front of me? So don't let your arms go and do something. This is not the same as doing some sort of other step where you can use. It's syncopated, that means it's super quick. You can't, and your body's shifting, so you can't move your arms to different directions. Keep your arms just underneath, keep them tight, so let your body rotate, but your arms do not. I tend to move a little bit my shoulders, which gives an illusion that the arms are moving, but we're not actually moving the arms. Yes? Oh, Hannah, thank you so much for your donation, darling. Thank you so much. What else we have there? Sometimes when you try to complicated moves, it gets hard to figure out starting the next move one or five. Best by the time, basic, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Eric, I get it. We don't, that lead doesn't break hold with us, but says show this slow part. Okay, so now, how do we know how to come back to our normal beat when we're doing something? This is actually a very good point, Eric. So imagine if you're dancing, okay? You're dancing, and you miss the slow part. Usually, we continue with our basic, and then we could start on the next part, okay? So it's the same when you are doing a complicated move. If you're doing something complicated and the music started without you, like you were on the spot, didn't hear something slow, yes, complicated, and the music started without you and you didn't realize, you have to stay there for at least 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. So then you may be gonna do a little bit something quicker, but still on the spot to collect and go on one. What a lot of the times people do, especially leaders, is when they don't know the music and they start doing something very complicated, and then they hear that something changed, but they hear it somewhere on 3, 4, not 1 or 5, right? They realize that they are now suddenly slightly off, and they just go into the basic. Avoid going into the basic. You have to stay there and find your one. You can't just, if you don't know the song and you don't realize where your 1 or 5 is very, very quickly, then from the complicated move, you have to come out, you have to wiggle on the spot for 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 until you actually realize where your one is. You cannot rush. Then later on, when you get more comfortable with the music, you will know how to come back 1, 2, 3, 4 and go on 5, 6, 7, 8. So not always you need to go on one, you can go on 5. So when you're doing something complicated, you can do like 1, 2, 3, pick her up, 5, 6, 7, 8. You continue with your basic. So you're still gonna miss the 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's not gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do I answer your question, Eric? So just don't rush. Don't go, oh, we need to go. You missed it, pick her up, wiggle for 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and pick the side where you need to go. Now, yeah, the thing is, Sheila, different moves require different attention. If the guy, if the leader is doing something with you, there are positions where you can empathize, and there's positions where you cannot, and you have to do exactly what is done. So it really depends on the move. If it's something like this and it's shoulders, yes, you can emphasize, but you cannot change the rhythm. But if it's some sort of like an isolation, you need to be really, really precise. So it really, really depends, Sheila, for this question, depending on what mood you are in. It's all individual. Syncopation. Another Sheila. We have two Sheilas. Great. So it's not break wine, it's great. Great. Great wine. And syncopation, basically, I call this syncopation, but I also call this syncopation. So syncopation is not the actual footwork. The syncopation is anytime you do faster footwork. You're using the and in between the beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that is a syncopation. And you could be going anyway. You could be going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's already syncopation. So anything you do faster, like 2 rhythms in one, that's your syncopation. And grapevine, that's the actual name for this step. This step doesn't have a name. That's what I'm just saying. That's why I just mentioned it. Do a syncopated basic to the side, But grapevine is actually recognized by most of the teachers because different teachers call things different names, and that's it. Okay, that was a lot of questions. Oh, I feel like I did a job. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time, and then after that, not grapevine, great. Wait, let me write this to you. Great wine. Is it my accent? Do I not speak English? So now, guys, I'm going to do it one more time. Really listen, and I will say absolutely nothing. Okay? So I'm going to be dancing, and you try and listen. Try not to even look at me. Only if you get a little bit lost, have a glance at me if you need to continue, okay? And we're gonna go through the whole song. We do that song, and then we're gonna do a random song. I haven't picked a song. I'm gonna go like this, pick a song, and we're gonna see how we can apply the same skills, okay? Just to prove you that it's not about today's song, it's any song, it's the skills that we're developing, okay? So get yourself ready, breathe, relax, don't tense, and try to dance on your own now. Okay, see if you can hear the things we talked about. Quiero escucharte palpitar cada mañana y que me extrañes si no estás conmigo. Quiero enredarte y que no salgas de mi cama, no. Quiero entender cada matiz de tu mirada. Quiero pintar los días grises contigo. Quiero escaparme a algún lugar entre tus alas, no. Vive sin tenerte, mi mundo no se ha dividido. Vive feliz sin tenerte y ahora sin ti. Ya no vivo, late fuerte. Sé que te ha hecho sufrir. Duerme tranquila que hoy yo te di todo de mí. Todo de mí. Quiero cantarle al mundo cada madrugada. Quiero vivir, quiero casarme contigo. Siento tu voz y no me importa la distancia, no. Vivir feliz sin tenerte, mi mundo no se ha dividido. Vivir feliz sin tenerte y ahora sin ti. Ya no vivo, late fuerte. Sé que te ha hecho sufrir. Duerme tranquila que hoy yo te di todo de mí. Todo de mí. Solo por eventos se pasa solo por el tiempo al rozarme con la punta de tus dedos. Pero por dentro se paralizó hasta el viento. Se me quitaron mis miedos. Y esa imagen tuya de currada y de vida y el medio por el resto de mis días. Se quita en silencio el corazón mientras te pienso. Tan lejos, vida mía. Late, late fuerte. Sé que te ha hecho sufrir. Duerme tranquila que yo te vi. Todo de mí. Todo de mí. Late fuerte. Sé que te ha hecho sufrir. Duerme tranquila que yo te vi. Todo de mí. Late, late fuerte. Sé que te ha hecho sufrir. Duerme tranquila que yo te vi. Todo de mí. How are we feeling? How are we feeling? Huh? We okay? Sounds like great wine. It's great wine. Guys, how are we feeling? I hope you managed to do it okay by yourself. Um, but now we're gonna try and do it with a completely different song. Just catch a breath, just so you could actually see whether you can apply what we've learned. And remember, most of bachata music is the same, but some of them are a little bit different. All of them gonna have repetition. So if something happens once, it's gonna happen again. But not all of them gonna have the same amount of repetitions. So you can't say that every song is the same. It has the same principles, but it kind of shifts and varies a little bit. Whether there's going to be only one time it stops, or there's going to be keep on stopping all the time. So you have to take each song on, as its own. But the principles are the same. So we're going to pick a random song now and save us all. But don't expect to have everything everywhere. Okay? Oh, Bernie, thank you so much for your donation. Really appreciate it, Bernie. Thank you. I hope you're learning something, something useful. So just focus on that, okay? Don't freak out. If something completely stops, just stop, yes, and then take it from there. But I am going to be dancing in front of you. But guys, try and really listen yourself. And only when you feel like you're a little bit lost or you need some reference, have a look at me. I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm going to do exactly the same things, even though I would be maybe doing something more complicated myself. I'll be doing exactly the same response as I would want you to respond at this particular moment. Okay? So are we ready to take like to do a random song? Are we ready? Are we ready for that? I'm not sure I'm ready. Random song, random song. How random can I make it? What is this? Okay, I don't know. Okay. This has a lot of stops. If it stops, just stop. And I'm not even sure how much of a guitar we have there. But let's try. You ready? Breathe. And let's go.
Así como cada noche estoy recordando el vacío en este apartamento, me está desesperando. Mientras sigo bebiendo, tu recuerdo me abraza. Pasa el tiempo pero tú no pasas. ¿Cómo hago para cambiar el corazón? La tristeza decora nuestra casa. Yo sé que nadie se muere de amor. Pero el trago y no verte mata. Nuestra decadencia chiquito. A tristeza decora esa casa. Eu sei que ninguém morre de amor. Mas cachaça e saudade mata. Se muero de amor. Syncopated guitar. Right back. Tú supiste. Así bailas una noche todo virando. Lo vacío de ese apartamento, ya tu paso mirando. Y noche desespero, empilando garrafas. Paso tiempo mais você não passa. Como hago para cambiar el corazón? La tristeza devora nuestra casa. Yo sé que nadie se muere de amor. Pero el trago y no verte mata. No estado decadente y debutó. La tristeza decora esta casa. Yo sé que ninguém morre de amor. Mas cachaça y saudade mata. ¿Cómo hago para cambiar el corazón? La tristeza decora nuestra casa. Yo sé que nadie se muere de amor. Pero el trago y no verte mata. Esta luz decadente que yo busco. La tristeza decora nuestra casa. Yo sé que ninguém deixar sem saudade mata, a se mata. King Coward, Jackson.
It's a good song, actually. Guys, this one is by Kevin Cosmos and Jensen. It's a very good song. Estado decadente, decadente, decadente. Guys, you know, do you see how guitar, it was so settled there? And like you can barely hear it. And you had that one moment, that was it. Yes, Danny J before gave us many times of guitar. This one gave us that one solo that I've been talking about, that a lot of music has just that one solo guitar, and you either miss it or you take it and that's it. And a lot of stops, right? Some of them just stop and go, go, go. But same principle, isn't it? You know? So now, guys, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna stay here for 5 or 10 more minutes and I can answer any questions you have, okay? Technically, we finish, but few things before you go. Make sure you watch part 1 if you haven't watched it, because in part 1, you learn how to find the rhythm and how to actually do different kinds of steps and actually how to find your 1 and 5. If you know how to find your 1 and 5 and you know how to keep the rhythm, then this is extra. And then when you learn how to listen to the music, and hopefully you start memorizing music. If you memorize music and you start listening to the music, you can start learning complicated moves and start playing with those in the music. Of course, it's so much more fun. But everybody has to start somewhere. And I actually, if I do like, if there's a new song comes out and it's the first time I listen to it, usually this is how I dismantle it. And then but I need only to hear it once, and then that's it. I remember it forever. But that's me. But yeah, this is how I dismantle music, literally, and that's how most of people do. The other thing is in part 1, guys, I have one student that brought me up in attention that I didn't mention guera as an instrument in bachata music. So you know when I said the maraca sound is not always there as a maraca. Sometimes it's the instrument guera, or most of the time it's the instrument guera. So I forgot to mention the guera. That's the instrument that sounds like maracas, not the actual maracas. It's usually the guera. So I wanted to fix that mistake and tell you that now. But the reason I made this mistake, because I don't know instruments really. I know the sound and I know what instrument means what and what does it do. But this is why I don't do musical class with instruments. I do it about how the dancers respond to these instruments, not about how the instruments are called. So if you need that kind of class, I'm not that person. But if you want to learn, especially about the instruments, you might need somebody like Pierre or somebody different. But yes, the guera, it sounds like maracas. Yes, and I forgot to mention that bit for you last time. So guys, we officially finished. If you have any questions, leave the questions down below. I'm going to answer them now. And if there's any ladies, every Sunday now, we started last week, we have ladies styling Sundays. So 5:30, we have bachata ladies styling, and then we have 15 minutes break, and then we have salsa styling on 6:45. So if you want to do both, you have 15 minutes break. If you want to do one or the other, you pick. All of the links are on my YouTube already, so you can see them. And set a little bell reminder. You can press on them and remind yourself if you think you're going to forget. But we do all sorts of progressive learning. It's an unapologetic salsa styling and unapologetic bachata styling, and it's awesome. So you can go check that out as well. And also, guys, thank you so much for all of the donations for those who do make them. As I say, I do these classes free. Because we are still in isolation and not everybody can afford them. And I really, really, really appreciate for those who do donate money, because it contributes to my future of survival. So I really appreciate it. Layla, thank you so much for your donation, talking about donations. So yeah, thank you so much. You have no idea, guys, how much it means when you donate. And I know some of you actually leave me PayPal donations and some of you leave me coffee donations. I see them all and I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Now, if you go, I understand, but I see some questions and I'm going to answer the questions now before I go. Ooh, and most importantly, next week, we're coming back here next week, Saturday, 7 p.m., and we are doing salsa body movements. There's gonna be a bachata body movement as well, one after. But the next one, because we just did the bachata, we're alternating. So the next week we have salsa body movements. If you dance salsa, we're gonna do some afro, we're gonna do shoulder shimmies, we're gonna incorporate it with all sorts of steps. This is for male and female. We're not gonna discriminate. It's not arm styling, it's body movement. So if you want to learn how to move your body to some basic salsa steps, come next Saturday, 7 p.m. That's what we're gonna be doing. Okay. Oh, Jason, thank you, son. Thank you for your donation. All right, guys, we finished. So I understand if you leave, but we have some questions. Let's get them answered. First and the five on my bachata playlist. Excellent, Eric. I'm glad this was useful for you. Yes, Lua. That's exactly the guira is the instrument that it's usually like a metal. Usually is metal. So it's kind of like, or sometimes it's wooden actually, yeah. So it's long and there's a stick and there's a long thing and you go shik, shik, shik. Yes, that's the shik, shik, shik. I had the metal one, but I'm sure there's a different kinds of one. But as I say, I'm not an expert in instruments. But if you write guerra, or if you just go to Google and you actually write Dominican bachata music, it will come up instruments and you will have pictures as well, but that's the shik shik shik, that's the sound that we followed in the part one bachata, that gives us the rhythm. What's the rhythm? Is the shik 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 sound, exactly the sound of maracas, like it sounds very similar. All right, what else we have? Dave, you happy? I'm glad you're happy, darling. Yeah, the instrument classes are very, very helpful. Not for me, but for a lot of people, they are. I find it. It depends who you are. I have a natural instinct of dancing. So for me, I hear something and I immediately want to respond to something without even knowing what it is sometimes. For other people, they don't have that. So it's good to know the instruments because then you can actually look for them. When you look for the instruments, particularly for specific instruments, it slows down the process of reaction. And that means you're going to actually learn how to dance to the music much slower than anybody else. That's why I did, especially with the salsa and now with the bachata, that's why I did the musicality class like this. Because instruments is really cool to know. And, it's nice to know what you're listening to and everything. But for you to hear that instrument and then respond to it, to listen for a specific instrument to respond to it, you're going to always be delayed. Your process of dancing to the music is going to be so much slower. It's much more important to listen to a particular sound, not about instrument or this or that. It's about the feeling. It's whether shh, shh or stop or ta-da. It's to find ways how you can immediately respond to it. And of course, then you can learn the instruments on top of it, and it's a fantastic mix. But just to rely on instruments and not think about the basic way how you can respond to the music, like if it stops, you stop, how to be dancing with the music, in the music, not rushing. So then when it stops, you're quicker to respond. Things like that, or having the basics, the correct steps to actually be able to play with the music, to know how to come out of the dodgy situation. Those are all the things that I think are very important and what makes you dance immediately better to the music rather than you constantly listening for that clave in salsa, for example. It's like, where is my one? In so many other ways. By the way, we already had salsa musicality, so you can go back and watch it. But there's like the same with bachata. If you just listen for that one instrument, you can go, it's crazy. You have to find other ways to keep dancing because it's so much easier than you think. And I hope with these musicality classes, I gave you something extra. I hope I gave you something to work with that will make it easier for you. Oh, Marilu, you're welcome. Everybody's happy? Oh, thank you for another donation. Thank you so much. Okay, County Durham. Thank you. I appreciated you in every class of mine. I really, really appreciate it. So many familiar faces. Okay, guys, so I think this is it. We are finito. We are finished. We're done. And remember, I am super excited about next week because body movement is something a lot of people feel really uncomfortable with. So I'm going to literally do a lot of breakdown and a lot of things that hopefully, again, will immediately start moving your body. So we're not going to do complicated combinations where you have to like be some sort of particular flexible. I'm going to show you immediately the things that you can use immediately in your salsa. And it's going to be based on cross-body salsa on one, but the body movement is going to be based a lot on Cuban and Afro-Cuban and all of the rest. And yeah, and ladies, for styling, come to me tomorrow. We're going to do so many nice things, and I think we're going to be doing tens. So come, we're going to learn bachata tens with arm styling and all of the rest, and salsa tens as well. So that's it. That's it. That's it. That is it. Don't worry, borderos not gonna happen in salsa for now. Okay, maybe later on. I'm gonna gently prepare you into those crazy moves. Gently prepare. I will look after you. I promise. Okay, now I go and have usually what I do is a little whiskey, and yes, gonna make some more videos for you. That is what my life is these days. But I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for being for being here. It brings me so much joy. Oh, my weekends are so special just because I have you. So thank you very much. And thank you everybody for donations. Okay, I go. I don't want to leave you, but I go. Okay. Bye guys. Thank you, Patricia. Bye.